up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how it started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. Yeah. I feel it. Then I went on by backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. God has. I want to scream, y'all. I want to scream, y'all. God has smiled on me. He has set me free.
anything past hope. Because, you know, I grew up, like I said, single mama on welfare. And my mother told me there's a part in life that hope's gonna run out. But she told me you got a double barrel in your engine. I said, what is that? She said, you can switch from hope to faith. Faith is a little deeper than hope. Bishop Hilly is here. Faith is when hope runs out. Faith is the substance of things. Hope for the evidence of things not seen. Faith is when we were emancipated after 246 years of slavery and walked off the plantations with no education, no money, no future. And we built black churches and black colleges and black fraternities. We had faith. Faith made us stand up to the most powerful nation in the world and turn it around. Faith means we went from the back of the bus to the front of the White House. We come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in His holy word. He never failed us yet.
The fact of the matter is, Rosa Parks was not only the mother of the modern civil rights movement, she was the mother of this nation. Why would you say that, Sharpton? Because you called George Washington the father of the nation, but when he became father, we wasn't included in the nation. Women were not included in the nation. The first time we had a parent in this nation is when all of us was included, and Rosa Parks did that on December 1st, 1955. I heard somebody say Jim Crow is who she fought, and Jim Crow is still around. But Jim Crow is old. That's not who I'm mindful of today. The problem is Jim Crow has sons.
October the 3rd. It's my birthday, and I'm working, so you work with me. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners, and welcome to those listening on Sirius XM Channel 126, The Urban View, and for you that are following us on live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. I'm coming to you live, I said, from Nan Corporate, and today I feel great. Worked out this morning, did Morning Joe this morning, had a business meeting this morning in the office, working on my birthday. People ask me, why do you work on my birthday? Because that's what I do. If you like going out, doing what you do, good. I love what I do, so I do it on my birthday, and I appreciate all of you. A lot of people on our message board saying happy birthday, Reverend Sharpton. God bless you, Pamela Gordon. Happiness Donuts, wishing you good health and happiness on your special day. We thank God for you, Reverend. Angela Coley, happy Friday. This is a gift shopping season, so check out the flip. All right, check this out. Store.bookbaby.com. Search. Okay. Angela Conley says happy Friday. That's what I just read. The mayor, I saw the mayor had checked in. Rodney Jones says it's Exhale Friday. Let me out, let it out, let it out. And happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I see you at the Saturday rally. A lot of people, and I thank you. I appreciate all that. Let me tell you something. As I was going through it. I was talking this morning on Morning Joe. They played a tape on the show. Some of you that watch Morning Joe saw it, where they played where James Brown and Muhammad Ali brought me on the Tom Snyder show. First network sit-down show I did. I was in my 20s. And it's been a long haul. I started preaching when I was a boy preacher, 4 years old. Got in the civil rights movement when I was 12. Today, I am 71 years old. Been in this struggle for over 60 years. Been preaching 57 years. And you think about on your birthday, if you could live your life all over again, what would you do? And I might avoid one or two mistakes, but not all of them, because I learned as much from my mistakes as I learned from the things I got right. Sometimes your mistakes can help shape and mold you better than your good periods. And I was playing in the car this morning, leaving 30 Rockefeller Center where they do Morning Joe. Alex Bradford, you got to be a little older to know that name. Alex Bradford used to sing a song, I don't feel no way tired, I come too far from where I started from. And that's how I feel. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me now. And Alex had that song that I'll never turn back. All of that, that's what I play, gospel music. I work out, I play some Yolanda Adams, some Aretha Franklin, because that's what inspires me. Now, that may not work for you. I tell a lot of folk, do what works for you. I know it worked for me. And that's what I'm going to do till as long as I can. And, you know, I've been through it. I've stabbed, leading a march. A white supremacist stabbed me when I was 37. I thought I'd never see 40 as hostile and vital till it was in New York. Less known 70. But, you know, God spares you for a reason, not just a season, and I'm grateful for it. Let's get down to what's happening today. Let me say that the shutdown continues. We are looking at a White House that cares less about the fact that they have now destabilized people's income, people's lifestyle, people's way of moving forward in life. Don't know when their paycheck is coming, yet they're supposed to work anyhow. We also see at the same time that they are reversing the $187 million cuts in counterterrorism in New York. They're going to give that money back, but he's cutting out the $16 billion that was to build the Second Avenue subway and the underground railway under the Hudson River. Canceling that because he said they use DEI, which means because they're saying it has to be blacks on the job. He's canceling that. So you got the shutdown. You got canceling New York State funds because he doesn't like the politics in New York's against him. He's canceling all of that while he's sending military and ICE agents into Chicago and Memphis. And you got people with college degrees sitting up on television and radio saying that they feel that we're moving toward a dictatorship. You just about there. With all that he's doing, what do you mean we moving toward an autocracy? He can shut down the government, shut down. They could not get unemployment statistics today because he shut down that department. So you don't even know how bad the economy is, and you sitting around waiting on the other shoe to drop, it's going to drop on your head. Happiness Donuts just posted something on message line that I'm glad she refreshed my memory. One of the things that was so heart-wrenching to me is she says children in zip ties in the middle of a peaceful Chicago night. They took them kids, I'm talking about children, babies, out of the house, put them in zip ties until they could prove they were citizens. I mean, how more brutal can you get? If this happened to another country, in another country, we say they were uncivilized. Well, what are you going to say about this country? Children. Zip them up in the zip bag until we can identify your nationality. And these people are the ones that claim they are the real Christians. Well, I must have studied the wrong Christ, because I believe in a Christ that said, feed the hungry, give shelter to those outdoors, heal the sick, not mock them, not detain them. So I think it is absolutely incredible what we're going through and why we're going through it. But I cannot put all the blame on Trump. I think we got to take some of the blame. Those of us that didn't vote, those of us that talked down Kamala Harris because we didn't want a woman, those of us that try to have both ways, well, I'm all right with her, but, and fed into the enthusiasm because it was popular with the crowd at the minute. Democrats ain't doing nothing, doing more than the Republicans. Politics is not a game of perfection. It's a game of the best option. I'm not looking for a savior. I'm looking for a president. I'm looking for a congressman. I'm looking for a senator, which means there's going to be some stuff that I don't think they have. But if they have 70, 80% of what I need, as opposed to somebody that has built their whole career against me, it does not mean I'm playing politics to go at them. It means I got common sense to protect my own interests. Oh, Mal, I don't play politics. If they ain't 100% with what I want, I ain't with it. So you rather have nothing, and your children have nothing, and your grandchildren have nothing. Every revolution, every move started with trying to build off of what you can get, and as people became more stable, they also became more conscious, and you could organize. You can't take people that's got to struggle from one meal to the next, not even one day to the next, one meal to the next, and expect them to help you start a revolution. You need to study revolution and quit studying your own tapes of yourself. You gotta make a tape and go home and listen to yourself talk. That don't make you no smarter than when you left home, because you only heard you. Let's take a break and we'll open it up. It is Exhale Friday. Whatever's on your mind, whatever's in your heart. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Keeping it real. Okay,
Democratic presidential candidate, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to address my remarks in two parts. One, I'm honored to address the delegates here. Last Friday, I had the experience in Detroit of hearing President George Bush make a speech. And in the speech, he asked certain questions. I hope he's watching tonight. I would like to answer your questions, Mr. President. To our chairman, our delegates, and all that are assembled, we're honored and glad to be here tonight. I'm glad to be joined by supporters and friends from around the country. I'm glad to be joined by my family, Kathy, Dominique, who will be 18, and Ashley. We are here 282 years after, right here in Boston, we fought to establish the freedoms of America. The first person to die in the Revolutionary War is buried not far from here, a black man from Barbados named Crispus Attucks. 40 years ago, in 1964, Fannie Lou Hamer and the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party stood at the Democratic Convention in Atlantic City, fighting to preserve voting rights for all Americans and all Democrats regardless of race or gender. Hamer's stand inspired Dr. King's March in Selma, which brought about the Voting Rights Act of 1965. 20 years ago, Reverend Jesse Jackson stood at the Democratic National Convention in San Francisco, again appealing to preserve those freedoms. Tonight, we stand with those freedoms at risk and our security as citizens in question. I have come here tonight to say the only choice we have to preserve our freedom at this point in history is to elect John Kerry, the President of the United States. I stood with both John Kerry and John Edwards over 30 occasions in debates during the primary season. I narrated them, I watched them, I observed their deeds, I looked into their eyes. I am convinced that they are men who say what they mean and mean what they say. I am also convinced that at a time when a vicious spirit in the body politic of this country that attempts to undermine America's freedoms, our civil rights, our civil liberties, we must leave this city and go forth and organize this nation for victory for our party and John Kerry and John Edwards in November. But let me quickly say, this is not just about winning an election. It's about preserving the principles on which this very nation was founded. Look at the current view of our nation worldwide as a result of our unilateral foreign policy. We went from unprecedented international support and solidarity on September 12, 2001, to hostility and hatred as we stand here tonight. We can't survive in the world by ourselves. How did we squander this opportunity to unite the world for democracy and to commit to the global fight against hunger and disease? We did it with a go-it-alone foreign policy based on flawed intelligence. We were told that we were going to Iraq because there were weapons of mass destruction. We lost hundreds of soldiers. We spent $200 billion at a time we had record state deficits. And when it became clear that there were no weapons, they changed the premise for the war and said, no, we went because of other reasons. If I told you tonight to let's leave the fleet center, we're in danger. And when you get outside, you ask me, Reverend Al, what is the danger? And I say, it don't matter, we just needed some fresh air. I have misled you, and we were misled. We are also faced with the prospect of, in the next 4 years, that 2 or more Supreme Court justices' seats will become available. This year, we celebrated the anniversary of Brown versus the Board of Education. This court has voted 5-4 on critical issues of women's rights and civil rights. It is frightening to think that the gains of civil and women's rights and those movements in the last century could be reversed if this administration is in the White House in these next 4 years. I suggest to you tonight that if George Bush had selected the court in '54, Clarence Thomas would have never got to law school. This is not about a party. This is about living up to the promise of America. The promise of America says we will guarantee quality education for all children and not spend more money on metal detectors than computers in our schools. The promise of America guarantees health care for all of its citizens and doesn't force seniors to travel to Canada to buy prescription drugs they can't afford here at home. The promise of America provides that those who work in our healthcare system can afford to be hospitalized in the very beds they clean up every day. The promise of America is that government does not seek to regulate your behavior in the bedroom, but to guarantee your right to provide food in the kitchen. The issue of government is not to determine who may sleep together in the bedroom. It's to help those that might not be eating in the kitchen.
Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Exhale Friday is my birthday. They're going to be having special guests who I do not know who they are till they get on. And they tell me they have a special guest. So let's go to the live line for a special guest. You're on Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton.
Well. You're getting better. You're getting stronger. You're getting more handsome. Happy birthday to you. This is the chairman of the National Action Network.
The Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson. How you doing, Doc?
Happy birthday, Al.
Oh, thank you.
How you doing, boy?
I'm doing good. Thank you for calling in. This is heartwarming. This is the chairman of our board, and he also heads the Conference of National Black Churches and chairman of the Board of Virginia Union that had a big victory this week. So happy, as busy as you are, you called to wish me happy birthday. Well, you called me last night, but you called me again on the air. I miss special.
Yeah, but you special, Doc. You special to all of us. And may God continue to bless you and make you strong.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for your call. That was a surprise.
All right, buddy.
Thank you. And let me say by way of announcements that don't forget, Saturday and Sunday, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. I'll be live both nights. I'm not going nowhere for my birthday weekend. I'll be live in studio. I'm lining up these people in the Senate and in the House to talk about the shutdown, but I also want to talk about what is going on in these troops in Memphis, in Chicago. We need to talk about that. We're going to talk about whatever the outcome of Puffy Combs' trial is today. He's being sentenced. So there's a lot to talk about, and I'm going to have the right guest on, and I'll be fired up. Make sure you watch Saturday and Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. You that are in the tri-state area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally. It's my birthday rally tomorrow. We're also going to celebrate it at the Triumph Awards, but the rally tomorrow will be around that. I'll be speaking 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I got a special birthday message, what I have learned in these 71 years. I'm going to talk about tomorrow. You that are not in New York or the area, you can watch it live on Impact Television. And you can watch it live on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And Triumph Awards is Monday night. That's our cultural awards of National Action Network. We honor people that we feel have positively affected the culture. And this year, we will be honoring, and all of the honorees will be there. Kenneth Babyface Edmonds is our Man of the Year. He'll be there. And Stephanie Mills, vocalist extraordinaire, will be there and honoring her. Ari Melba, who is the host of The Beat on MSNBC, who is mixed hip-hop and news in an unprecedented way. He'll be there. And Chesley Maddox Darcy, who's kept urban radio in black ownership, certainly affected the culture. She'll be there. And Vincent Bohannon, one of our great gospel singers. We are full to capacity. If you want to get on the waiting list, if somebody pulls out, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net or call the toll-free number 1-877-626-4651. You cannot come to the door. It's free. You cannot come to Lincoln Center and get in without a ticket. There is nobody admitted. Don't tell them how long you known me. It won't work. Get on the waiting list if you hadn't had a ticket. If you got a ticket, make sure you know when and where to go pick them up over the weekend, because without a ticket, you will not have admissions. All right. Right here in the office, I'm joined by a young man who's been in our movement since he was 11 years old. He is now a special assistant to me, and he's a great organizer and great preacher. And I just wanted him on my birthday to spend a couple of segments with me, Reverend Stephen Marshall. How you doing, Reverend Marshall?
I'm well, Rev, and honored to be with you today. Happy birthday again. Honored to be here.
Thank you for your birthday wishes. Let me tell you, what is that at your age? You're just barely over 40. So what is it that is the most concerning thing to you in your generation?
Wow, tough question. There's a lot. I think the whole crisis around affordability for those of us who are reaching now adulthood. I'm 40 years old, live in New York City, have a family, a wife, 2 children, working my own business, and obviously working in the movement with you at NAN. I think affordability is one of the top concerns around millennials, and even those that are a generation behind me. Can you survive in the place you grew up? I grew up in Brooklyn, and it's unachievable now to live in my old neighborhood.
And that's because of gentrification?
Gentrification, for sure. I think once we started allowing developers to not only overdevelop, but to purchase the homes that our parents have owned, it took the market to another place even before the neighborhoods were actually ready for it to go there. I'm not anti-development. I think places in Brownsville, Bed-Stuy, Bushwick deserve all of what we experience in other neighborhoods, but it can't be at the cost of the people being displaced.
And this is going on all over the country. Let's go to the phones. Let me go to my dear friend in Chicago, the beloved Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton and Stephen Marshall.
Good afternoon to you and happy birthday, and I wish you many more.
Thank you.
God bless you and all of your endeavor. My son just made 70 on August the 5th, so I have to take you for another son.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I have 4 sons. And did you get mail from me, Reverend?
I believe I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to get too political today. I just want to say to the Democrats, hold on, don't bow. The Republicans are not interested, so don't bow to them. And thank you, and continue on with your day.
All right. Thank you for your call. Always good to hear your voice. And one of the things I look forward to in the beginning of the week on Mondays and the end of the week on Fridays is to hear her voice. It is really something about her spirit just encourages me. O.G. Kelly saying on our message page, listen to this, Reverend Marshall, Trump's spiritual advisor, Texas mega church founder Robert Morris pleads guilty to child sex abuse charges and will get only 6 months in the county jail. Only 6 months. This is a minister of a mega church pled guilty to child sex abuse. And these are the people that had the moral standing to say Trump ought to be president. OG went on to say pedophiles shouldn't be allowed to cop a plea. I agree with that. Some crimes you shouldn't be able, Marshall, to take a guilty plea on.
Absolutely. I think without knowing the details of that trial, that case, is what you've been telling us for decades around why voting matters. Those judges that sit on the benches in those small towns or big towns, they ultimately have the decision, obviously with the threshold of sentencing, to do exactly what we see here. I have 2 daughters like you have 2 daughters. There is no way that any of us, even if you don't have children, you got nieces, nephews, or you may just be a figure or a presence in your family, in your community, that a person could touch a kid and get 6 months in jail is unimaginable.
All right, let's get ready to take our break. I'm coming back. More of you on the phones and more of you on the message board. I'm going to bring up your message. Keeping it real. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Why would you say that, Sharpton? Because you called George Washington. But the fact of the matter is, Rosa Parks was not only the mother of the modern civil rights movement, she was the mother of this nation. Why would you say that, Sharpton? Because you called George Washington the father of the nation, but when he became father, we wasn't included in the nation. Women were not included in the nation. The first time we had a parent in this nation is when all of us was included, and Rosa Parks did that on December 1st, 1955. I heard somebody say Jim Crow is who she fought, and Jim Crow is still around. But Jim Crow is old. That's not who I'm mindful of today. The problem is Jim Crow has sons. The one we got to battle is James Crow Jr. Esquire. He's a little more educated. He's a little slicker. He's a little more polished. But the results are the same. He doesn't put you in the back of the bus. He just puts referendums on the ballot to end affirmative action when you can't go to school. He doesn't call you erase your name. He just marginalizes your existence. He doesn't tell you that he's set against you. He sets up institutional racism, where you have a nation respond looking for weapons in Iraq that are not there, but can't see a hurricane in Louisiana that is there. James Crow Jr. Esquire. That's who we got to fight. And if we are to win, if we are to really memorialize Rosa Parks, she would tell us to do in the generation of his son what she and Dr. King did to his daddy. They didn't talk a fight, they fought the fight. They didn't show up at funerals, they showed up on the picket line and the march line and the jailhouse. It amazes me that we sit there acting like we don't have work to do. And that many of us in our own community are mocking her memory. They formed a movement when they had none of what we got. You realize that Dr. King and Dr. Abernathy and them formed a boycott after Rosa Parks, where people stayed off the bus for a year, went to rallies every night, and they never had email, never had a cell phone, never could go online. Here you got 2 cell phones in your pocket, emails, computers at the house, and can't even get a block association meeting together. We've got so much more that they gave us, and we're doing so much less with it. They went to vote when people were threatening their lives. Medgar Evers was shot dead in his driveway, left 3 children inside that never knew how it was to have a father in their adult years, died to give us the right to vote. Pregnant women marched through the streets of Birmingham. They sick police dogs on them to give us the right to vote. 4 little girls bombed in a church in Birmingham, Alabama to give us the right to vote. And here you are 40 years later in Detroit, Michigan. No dogs biting you, no bombs going off, no bullets, too lazy and ungrateful. Making mockery of her memory. Making mockery of her memory. Nobody should have to beg you to vote. Nobody should have to beg you to stand up and protect the rights that they died and suffered to give us. You can't take care of one thing on the ballot in Michigan when they had to change the laws of all 50 states. You complaining about one referendum when they did a whole revolution and never fired one shot. And then you turn it around on each other. Why do I want my daughters to visit that stone? Because I want them to know black women are not hoes. You have music companies selling misogynist records to our children. Black womanhood was Rosa Parks sitting in dignity. She wasn't break dancing. She wasn't talking about pimp me out. She made the world respect her people. So I want to thank Reverend Jackson and Mrs. Jackson and others that taught us a little younger who Rosa was, and we got to pass that on. I want to challenge everybody here today that when we leave here, you ought to make a Rosa resolution. You ought to make one commitment in her name to yourself. That you're going to either join some organization or you're going to stand for some policy. You ought to make a Rosa resolution. You ought to resolve that you're going to do something that'll make a difference because we're here because she made a difference. Most people come and go, and we never come to say goodbye because their hellos didn't mean anything to us. But we're here because she touched every one of us. And we need to make a Rosa resolution. I said some of the young rappers.
I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, and Democracy.Fund is saying any rapper who does not seek wisdom from Sharpton and National Action Network is a fraud or will end up one. You know, Reverend Stephen Marshall sitting in with us, works here, Nan corporate as one of my special assistants. Reverend, you are of the age of a lot of the people in the hip-hop rap community, and you remember when we started Nan maybe 20 years ago, taking on the lyrics, and you right there with us as a teenager. It was not popular to do that, but now we see that a lot of them have now been overtaken by people like Kendrick Lamar and others who have come with positive rap. And the older rappers that was using the N-word and ho and b, they're not all gone, but many of them that rose to the heights ended up becoming in trouble. And then want the community to rally around them when they distanced themselves and in some cases desecrated the community. There's a lesson in that, Rev.
Absolutely. I definitely remember when you were one of the few, outside of the entertainment community that took on that fight to talk about decency. But my mother used to tell me, Rev, when you plant a seed, you're not really responsible when or how it grows. And these 20-something years later, we're just grateful that we can be proud of people like Common and Kendrick Lamar and those who seek to edify and lift up our communities. In particular, women, when we know that women still in 2025 are paid less than male counterparts. With the statistics of women being more educated than most men, they still have the struggle, and I think the music has to reflect the time that we're in, just like those like Mr. James Brown and Marvin Gaye and all of those who held systems accountable. I think that time is now, and proud to see it. More room to grow, more ways to travel, but definitely a difference from what we fought for back in those days.
Let's go to phones. Let's go to Tree in New Orleans, Louisiana. Tree.
Oh, Lord. Hey, Reverend, it's always good to hear your voice. You know, I wake up every morning, 365 days, to help people to get off of alcohol and drugs. And when October get here, I wake up and I think of my Reverend Al Sharpton every day and all the work he do and don't even worry about nothing but that.
Wow.
To thank him every year, on this phone or in paper or anywhere I can, to say thank you to the Reverend Al Sharpton for just living the life you live and the people you help, for the murderers and killers they have been murdered. And I just want to thank you every year, Reverend, every year. I call you every year on your birthday just to thank you and to wish you a happy birthday and just thank you every time for that.
I appreciate
it. And there's nothing else I can do in October but that.
I appreciate, I really appreciate that, Tree. That really, I got a lot of birthday wishes, but that got to me. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for your
special
call.
guest to you.
Let me go to, there's someone on the live line, special guest. Let me go to the live line. Hello, you're on Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton.
Rev, this is Martin.
Hey,
And happy birthday.
Martin Luther King the
I wanted to
third.
be Well, I just wanted to be among the many that are wishing you a special, extraordinary birthday on this day, and then to let you know how much the nation loves you and appreciates you. Obviously, my family, my wife Andrea, our daughter Yolanda, and our family loves and appreciates you. But the nation appreciates, and the world at this time, we need probably your voice more than ever. And you are inspiring us. It feels like, Dad used to say we got to find a way to hew out of a mountain of despair a stone of hope. And at this particular time in this nation and our world's history, my goodness, all of us from time to time need to be inspired. But we cannot. I don't know if you really know how much you really appreciate it and how much your voice means to us. But I just wanted to be among the multitude to wish you a happy birthday and let you know how much we love you.
Oh, I love you and I love your family. We are family. And I thank you for your call. And it means the world to me. You texted me this morning. I had no idea you was going to call on the radio. But I appreciate you and Andrea and my little goddaughter, Yolanda, Dr. King's grandchild. And it is more than I could ever express, not only working with you, as Dr. King's and son, but really, really seeing you. I tell people all the time, I don't know how you do it. If I woke up every morning named after Martin Luther King, every city I go in, a street named after, and the expectations, the pressure that puts on you, that's why, as a friend, I try to help as much as I can, because you are in a unique position. I try. You're in a unique position that no black person in America has to do, is to get up and live up to something that is got to be challenging, and you handle it with such grace and dignity, as your mother did before you. Because of you, I got to know your mother, and I think that we could never take for granted the burden and weight on the shoulders of the King family. Andrea and Yolanda, they can't escape it. And just bearing that burden for all of us, not just blacks, for all of us, means so much to me to even be a partner in that broader situation. So thank you for calling. Martin Luther King III. God bless you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rev. Bless you. Blessings to you and your whole family.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that was a surprise. Let's go to Ozzy in Cincinnati, Reverend Marshall. Ozzy, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Refresh.
All right, let me go to Atlanta then. Ozzy wasn't there. Let me go to Atlanta to Ruth. Ruth, right there where Martin is. Ruth.
Yes, sir, I sure am. I was calling to wish you happy birthday and to tell you that my nephew that I had told you earlier, his birthday is today also.
Okay.
And my husband's birthday is the 14th of this month. And we just had our wedding anniversary of 59 years.
Wow.
3rd of September.
Wow. That's wonderful.
And we just listen to you. My husband has his radio on in his car, 1380 WAOK, same as mine.
Wow.
All the time.
Wow.
And we tell people that, see, that's the reason why I told you, and I'm not going to hold you, Rev, but that's why I told you a while back, you are God's chosen. It was Martin Luther King was, but he is going on ahead. But you are still here, and he has you to lead us where he left off. You got to finish the job, and that's what you were doing. And my husband and I, we tell so many people about you and your truth because you are a truthful man of God, and so are we. We love God Almighty because he is our leader, one, and you are his follower behind him. So we thank God for you, Rev. We really and truly do, each and every day, because that's how much we love you and how much you have taught us. And I've got to call the bishop that used to be the bishop of our church. His was on the 1st of September. October.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Of October, okay.
So, yes, sir. So I haven't gotten around to calling him yet. But this is something, and I told you before, God has a covenant with us, and he has a covenant with you. He showed it to me and my husband in our backyard only. A beautiful rainbow with all colors. 3 times. That is a covenant in which you know that is a covenant with God.
Mm-hmm.
So have you.
All right. Well, bless you. Thank you, Ruth, and give my love to your husband. 59 years. That's great. Let me see if I can get Sarah in before the break. Sarah from Washington, D.C., you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
And if I may sing, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Reverend Al. Happy birthday to you.
Well,
and many more.
Thank you. Thank you. You know that it's good when someone sings happy birthday to you, Sarah. It's even better when they can sing, and you can sing. So that's good. Some people sing happy birthday, and you say, well, cut it off. But you carry a tune.
Well, thank you. I've always sang in the choir, and I have a little allergies going on today. And I said, dear God, please let me be able to do this right for Al Sharpton, because he's a great man of God.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for your call. On our message board, Bishop Dr. Michael E. Watson, Jr., and that's a real bishop, real doctor. On behalf of the Baltimore Community Chapter of National Action Network and Vice President of the Religious Affairs Department of that chapter, wish you a happy 71st birthday. Thank you for all you do for social justice for all. Thank you, Dr. Watson, and the whole chapter, and y'all showed up and showed out on the march on Wall Street. I stayed really close watching and what is going on in the Baltimore chapter, and it is active, phenomenal, and they don't need a whole lot of bothering from me. They do what they need to do right there in Maryland. I'm proud of you, and keep me in your prayers, Dr. Michael E. Watson, Jr. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting out. Do I seem excited? I am excited. This Saturday, the National... What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gonna stand up and make it loud. We have a young man in the studio who I think is an astounding young brother because of his youth. He's only 19 years old, and he's accomplished a lot, and he's here to make a presentation to James Brown, and we'd like to welcome him warmly. His name is Al Sharpton. How about it for Al Sharpton? Al is the National Director of the National Youth Movement Incorporated. Right, Al?
That's right.
And what do we have here?
Well, we come to break tradition. We know that in the recording industry that they give a gold record to those that achieve a million seller. But we view your million seller payback as a black record because it is relevant and says many of the things that young blacks have tried to say and could not musically express in our own little way. And we feel the payback is sort of like the theme song of Young Black America in 1974. Yeah.
Now, before you go into the title tune of your latest album, you have a special guest.
Yeah, I do have a special guest, a young lady.
That's going to perform with you?
Yeah, she's going to take...
Brought up there, can't afford to live it. And so when I was growing up, I was political without being political, in the sense that I was very angry about things.
Right.
Because, you know, like, you just felt like things were being done to you and no one was speaking to you, your family, your neighbors about how to actually involve you in shaping the place that you lived. And I got involved in quite a few like protests and organizing. And then I had a lot of support, and people at the time said, oh, we've got primaries for election for the council. And I was like, what's a councillor? And then I put myself forward, and yeah, I had zero expectation and won, and I served 3 times as a councillor. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. So
well,
we must host you. We must host you in Hackney when you next come.
I love that. Simon's trying to get me to lock down some dates now.
Have you ever met the mayor of London?
Yeah, I met. He did a television show that I was sitting in for a guy because he wasn't my show, and we met and talked. He said that he knew a lot of what we were doing over here.
Yeah.
He says he knows me.
I mean, you've inspired so many of us around. You know, like that's the message I wanted to bring to you, which is, I know the work you do is like predominantly around sort of the US, and to give, you know, marginalized voices, you know, a sense of power and a sense of a voice. But also, you know, like all of us in the UK and in London, we look to you to get our inspiration. And you know, certainly for the mayor, we'd love to host you.
I will do that. I'd love to.
I mean, I think one of the things that, you know, it'd be good to, like, I guess, like, I would want as inspiration from you is, you know, you've been through, you know, you've seen it all, and you've been through much more worse than what we've seen in the UK. And as you're saying, I think all of the things that we thought we were advancing on, whether it's around gender equality, racial justice, you know, climate action, I think in the last few years, all of that is now going backwards, right? And for me, it's like one of the things that I've learned now thinking through this is, even when you're winning, you never take your foot off the pedal of the gas. And it's like, as you were saying, it's like, I'll be very keen to get your thoughts on, you know, what is the message we can take back to...
I think that if we study history, it's always one step forward, then they're going to push back. I think that part of the naivety that a lot of activists, elected or unelected, is they think that if we do this one piece of legislation or get this one thing through, that we won. No, you had a temporary victory, but there's going to always be forces against you. So I think you have to set in your mind very young that this is going to be a lifetime struggle, and it's never going to be over. But history should record I was on the right side, and I did everything. I did my side, because history's ongoing. The example I use here a lot to people in my organization, to the young people, and is that for 246 years we were slaves, African American. Then we got the Emancipation Proclamation. Walk off the plantation. 246 years unpaid, against the law to read and write. Don't know where your family is because we're sold to different states. Somehow they put it together, and they started building their churches and their businesses and all. And by Lincoln starting the Reconstruction, 12 years Reconstruction, put 22 people in the Congress. But Lincoln gets killed. His vice president takes over, who was a racist. And they reversed all that. We went through 100 years of lynchings by law. Couldn't vote by law, taking back everything we did. Then King comes along, advance again, then backlash again with rape. So it's always this going forward and backward. History is defined by those that will fight when the wind is in their face, not to their back. Anybody's good when the wind is to your back. Your leadership is tested when the wind is facing you in the face. Can you keep running anyhow? And that's what separates the Gandhis and the Mandelas and the Kings from history, and those that had their moment in the sun, but we never hear from again because they couldn't take with the backlash. And like right now, a few years ago, we had a lot of young activists, George Floyd, all of that. And they faded because when the attacks came back, Trump got in, I'm going to live my life. I thought this was your life. And I think that you've got to make the commitment very early that I'm in this for the long run, because this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And the reward is going to be history will say you were right. And but you're going to have to go through seasons. It's that, maybe God wanted it that way. It doesn't matter what religion we practice, that there's seasons. It's summer, spring, fall, winter. And to get to the summer, you got to go through winter. And a lot of us don't want to go through the winter.
I worry.
Be a part of the conversation. Just keep it real. Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York, keeping it real. It's XL Friday. And now, America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
You're live, Rev.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and I can't get over Martin III and his tribute on my anniversary of my birthday, and getting a bunch of surprise callers and taking your calls from around the country while I'm trying to also talk about the shutdown and the ramifications of what is going on in Chicago and Memphis. But I have another surprise special guest on the line, so let's go to the special guest line. Hello?
Happy birthday, Reverend Uncle Al, Alfred, Reverend Alfred, my favorite Uncle Reverend Al, my only Reverend Uncle Al. This is Congressman Jonathan Jackson. Love you, brother. I saw you on the stage this morning with James Brown and Muhammad Ali. That's the company you should be keeping. Keep it going, Reverend Al.
Well, this is a great surprise, Reverend. I said Reverend, but you have not accepted your calling yet. But he is the congressman in Chicago. He is the named Jonathan Luther. Reverend Jesse Jackson and Jacqueline Jackson named him after Martin Luther King. I've known him just about all his life. Like he sounded like an uncle. I'm about a generation ahead of him. I'm about as distant to him as his father was to me. And so I watched him, and I remember when Yusef was born, and to see him in the Congress carrying on the tradition of the movement. And I'm going to take some bragging rights, we are the ones suggested on this show. He used to do this show every Tuesday, that he run for Congress. He said, you think so? And people got behind it and convinced him, and now he is a congressman. And the stuff he's written on DEI, I be getting his stuff. He don't even know I be reading it. I be telling my staff, get stuff I tell them in MSC, I want to know what Congressman Jackson's doing. He's a scholar, he's an academician, and he's a great congressman. Thank you so much for calling in. Let me ask you something. What are we going to do? What's the word on the Hill? How we get out of this shutdown?
Well, the same way we got in it. The Republicans started it. The Republicans have to open the government back up. This is a Republican-led shutdown. Leader Hakeem Jeffries is right on point. We have to control the narrative. They have shut the government down, not the Democrats. They pushed through every bill that they wanted on a partisan basis. They funded ICE to the tune of the 10th largest military budget in the entire world. They've called the American people the enemy within, when he called all the majors and generals and officers from around the world in the military into Quantico at the Marine headquarters and says the enemy for America is now within. The Supreme Court, the Kavanaugh rule, if you will, has given them an opportunity to stop and frisk everyone on the basis of their skin color. They said that's permissible now. So these are dark times, but in good times, people shine, and that's why I'm so proud of you on your birthday, Reverend Al. And I'm born in 66. You became a public figure in 69. I study you, Reverend Al, and you have been faithful to that call. And you do many things, activist and talk show host and other great stuff. But at your core, you are a minister. And for that, I applaud you, appreciate you for taking that gospel beyond the stained glass walls and taking it to these streets and keeping it real.
Well, I've tried to do that. I was mentored by your father. I've always said that, to what Dr. King was to him and John Lewis, he was to us, is to us. In fact, I'm getting ready to go on this 2 or 3 cities promoting this book with Abby Phillips. She's come out with a book on him that he deserves. And I come out of the King Jackson tradition. I say that everywhere. But nothing has made us more concrete than your serving in Congress at a time like this when you weren't even thinking about it. You did not know we'd be in a regime like this, which is why the gravitas that you bring to the Congressional Black Caucus and to the Congress is so much needed. Lastly, I have to ask you why I got you. What's going on in Chicago with the vice and other federal officers / military on the ground?
This problem started with Governor Greg Abbott with essentially trafficking migrants and trafficking some of the unaccompanied minors across state lines. There was a bit of a prostitution ring in one facility next to my district over here in South Shore in Chicago. The people have not been given work permits, and I'm all for the compassion. Rounding up people is just absolutely horrendous. It doesn't have to be this way, and I don't want people to get normalized to seeing men jumping out of unmarked vehicles, snatching women and children off the streets of America. Some people have come up here because they've had to flee some horrendous situations, and now they've turned the United States military against some of its own citizens. Some citizens were arrested and then released. So don't think that you can pass by that. When I was a little younger and Sammy Sosa was running the home run derby, and I'd wear a Cubs hat, some people would thought Sammy Sosa and I looked similar, and anyone can get stopped under this pretense. Now, of course, my man Sosa is light-skinned, and I've maintained my beautiful melanin. But it can happen to anyone. It's awful.
All right. Congressman Jonathan Jackson, Congressman Jonathan Luther Jackson, thank you for taking time out. We'll be talking soon, I'm sure. Reverend Marshall, that was a surprise. Jonathan Jackson, but he's doing, he is a congressman. He's doing the work there in Congress.
Yes, sir. I totally agree. Definitely a surprise. And I remember when we, meaning your daughters, were talking about supporting his candidacy, and he was already prepared, which is a great thing. So many times we send these folks to the Hill or to state houses, and we got to figure out where they are, and he's one of the ones that we see on the ground.
Absolutely. Let's go to Still Bill in Cincinnati, Ohio. Still Bill. It's Still
This
Bill.
is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Good afternoon, Reverend.
Good afternoon.
Happy belated birthday. Let me take you off the speaker. One good birthday wish deserves another. And I appreciate the fact that you acknowledged my birthday last Friday.
Yes, I did.
My birthday was Sunday. I feel a year older. I feel stronger, wiser, and my spirit is very much intact. And I lift an empty glass to you, Reverend. You're getting better with age. And I am just elated to celebrate your birthday very much.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for your call. Thank you. And God bless you on your birthday week. Let me go to Lightning Rod in Detroit.
What's up, Reverend Al? How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yep, I wanted to talk about Diddy. But first of all, let me wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you.
And you're very, very, very welcome. So I wanted to talk about Diddy, which is one of my music big brother heroes that I look forward to hopefully working with one day. Now, I knew if anybody could do it, you can do it, Reverend Al. I had a notion, I had a premonition. Actually, I had an ideal that should have been presented to the judge for Diddy, but I didn't get a chance to do it. But I said, who can I call at the last minute to get over to that courthouse or get the message over to the courthouse to somebody over there and to help Diddy? It would be for Diddy. If Diddy is free, he can be the face of domestic abuse centers and to stop domestic abuse. You understand what I'm saying? Can you hear me, Reverend Al?
Yeah, I'm listening. Yes.
So the key thing would be this. If somebody can get in front of that judge and says, look, let the man be free so he can actually open up centers, domestic violence centers all across the nation, he can help stop this stuff as well because he resonates to a lot of people. It's just like Elvis Presley. It's an Elvis Presley effect because Diddy is in that Elvis Presley conversation. R. Kelly is in that Elvis Presley conversation. And what could Elvis do? Elvis could reach the masses, which Diddy can do as well. Diddy is in the top 20. Him, R. Kelly, and Elvis, the top 20 greatest artists of all time. And, of course, your homeboy, your big uncle, James Brown.
Right.
But to get to my point, literally, they are in the top 20 greatest of all time. No stuff. I mean, total package, period, all the way around. So what I'm saying, Reverend Al, if you can even get over there, somebody get in front of that judge and says, let this man free. He can help stop domestic violence if he opens up plenty of domestic violence centers all across the nation saying, let's stop this. Let's put a stop to this. Hey, fellas, listen to me. I'm Diddy. I went through this. You don't have to do this. He is more of a help free than behind bars.
All right.
So if you
well,
can, man,
thank you for your call. Let me tell you, they've been. Thank you for your call, Lightning Rod. I don't know how to get anybody over the court when they halfway through. You have to be on the calendar. But I took what you said. Let me say this: I knew Diddy since he was a teenager, and I love the fact that he did a lot in the community. But the domestic violence and the violence we saw on that tape is inexcusable. And whatever is done, it must be also done with the consideration and consent of the victims. I have 2 daughters, and I would not want anybody's celebrity to excuse them for what they did. If he can show that he's really, really learned and turned around, and they participate with him, then that's something to talk about. But until then, I'm waiting to see. I don't ever count anybody out. Anybody can be redeemed. But I also say they've got to earn it, and you can't step over them sisters, them women that were violated, because then we're only furthering the damage. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, be right back.
is extremely important about the funding, but I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes Blacks. We don't want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they are literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunity, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started at Harvard with a Black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, the ACP would put forward together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation. Then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in this.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Joining James Brown, Muhammad Ali, and myself now from New York City is the Reverend Al Sharpton. And Mr. Brown, James, I'd like to ask you about this young man, how you came to meet him, and what the National Youth Movement, which he represents, is all about. Tell me something about that.
It's about teaching young kids the right way to go, and the things to be involved in education. Don't be a dropout, which is one thing I'm very much behind. Unless kids have guidance, they have no place to go. And the idea is to try to mold them. I mean, we think of anything, we think of it as a baby. And what we mold them to be is what it will be later on. He used to stand at my back door, and he believed in what I said, the Don't Be a Dropout program, and the fact of helping kids and giving them the right idol and the right image to go with, cleaning, grooming, and wanting to work, wanting to be something. I started as a kid, a juvenile delinquent, and everything. Had no model. And I was able to be a model for a young man like this. And what he turned out to be is a minister, and he preaches the right thing, and I'm for him 1,000%. I'm for everything he's about.
Mr. Sharpton, how national right now is the National Youth Movement? Is it something new? Has it been going on for a while? Do you have a stated number of members? Tell me something about it.
Well, we don't really get into a numbers game because that's been a trick that has been played for the last 20 years. What we're basically interested in doing is saying to young people of impoverished backgrounds that there are people like a Muhammad Ali and a James Brown that represents hope to us. Because these people, despite all of the social odds, despite the unemployment statistics, despite the lack of education in their day, were able to grow and be something that we can be proud of. A man like me didn't have a father at home, but I had a James Brown to look up to and would want to sing and dance like him, or Muhammad Ali, who I saw stand up and give away millions of dollars of stamps to the government so that I would have a right to come 10 or 20 years later and try to fight for my kids. So what we're saying is there are symbols and images that kids can look up to and not have to throw a brick through a window, but that can work by the sweat of their brow and succeed, just like these two gentlemen did.
But considering the numbers of young kids today, and Rev, there are hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of kids who really are in hopeless and desperate situations, is it enough to just offer them an example?
You say hopeless, though. Not hopeless.
Well, let's say, well, to them, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids,
it's never hopeless. There's no such thing as hopeless. It's never hopeless. When I got 8 to 16 years for breaking and entering as a kid because I was hungry, and here I am today, it's not hopeless. Let's don't say hopeless. Then we're carving out. I don't believe in hopeless. Don't you think it's hope? If you believe in something, try it. No such hopeless. I don't believe in hopeless. We're not going to go with that. And I think he's not about teaching them how to get out and fight for themselves. That's what it's about. No, it's not hopeless. Everybody has a cause and everything, but everybody want to live. And I think living is what we're about. We're not going to teach dying. Hopeless is dying.
I agree with you 100%, James. But what I'm trying to ask here is simply saying you too can be a James Brown or a Muhammad Ali. Is that enough to give a kid who's hungry, who doesn't know where his next meal is coming?
I'll say it.
Give him somewhere to go.
I think it's awful weak to tell a kid you can be a James Brown, one of the greatest entertainers in the world, and me, one of the greatest fighters. And like you said, the hundreds of thousands of millions of kids that need a break. You can't have that many great people, but they can get educated. They can go to school. They can learn. I'd like to say one thing. We have crime today. It's a big problem. I think they took a national vote on what the people want the government to spend most of the money on, and crime was over national defense. Worrying about Russia, China, outside enemies, they're worrying about inside crime. We have crime today, all type prostitution, murder, exploitation, degradation, and wars of all kinds. And I'm going to tell you why everything's happening. And I think if you're intelligent, you agree with it. If we were riding an airplane and the two pilots die for some reason, is there anybody in this room that can go in the cockpit, pick up the radio, start working it, bring the plane in, depressurize it as it land, and make it, and late at night on a stormy day? You couldn't do it.
Right.
Well, but if you learn how to fly, or if they show you how to fly, you can. Since God made the world, and God made us, He sent the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, and Moses.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. And let me say, Reverend Marshall, you've been with us since you was 11. I think it's the first time I pulled you on the show. You spoke at the Saturday rally, but I don't know that you've been here in the office, but I made you come on today. Let me introduce something I think everybody needs to hear about around the country. We're talking about Black Week, a national economic forum and cultural festival focusing on strengthening Black-owned and Black-targeted media, driving investment to Black companies and elevating authentic marketing to the Black community. It's in New York City on the 6th of October through the 9th. And this is something National Action Network is committed to, something I've been in since Operation Breadbasket when I was youth director 13 under Reverend William Jones and Jesse Jackson. So this is needed. When they sent this to us, it caught my eye. And I have on the live line the Chief Creative Officer, Innovation North America at VML, a leading voice on creativity, culture, and inclusive growth, Walter T. Gear III. Walter, thank you for being on. Give us a quick origin of the story. How did this Black Week come to be? What core problem is it solving in our community and in the marketplace?
Hey, brother, first of all, I want to say it is an honor to be having this conversation with you. So thank you so much for allowing me to be on your platform. Look, Black Week was born out of a simple but urgent truth, right? So for too long, culture has been commodified without the people who create it being centered or celebrated. And so last year, me and 6 other Black executives, some of the top Black executives in the advertising space within the industry, decided to come together, right? And all of us are from 7 competing agencies, and we made a choice. And the choice we made really was to put competition aside, to reject the limits placed on us, and to create Black Week, which essentially is a space built by us, and for everyone ready to invest in a more inclusive future. And so, you know, we shared a vision, right, to build an economic forum and a culture conference that doesn't just highlight Black and brown creativity, but empowers it. And what we wanted to do really is we wanted to create a space where the most powerful leaders in advertising, tech, media, and culture could literally sit in the same room with the creators and communities who shape what is coming next. And so, again, I'll say Black Week isn't just a conference, it's a movement that's entirely designed to change the way our entire industry thinks about inclusion, creativity, and cultural ownership.
Let me ask you, for anyone who says, why should I be here? Make the case. Why is Black Week the place to be for people who care about staying ahead in trends, culture, growth audience?
Reverend, look, the reality is, if we decided right now to take Black people out of music, out of fashion, out of entertainment, and out of sports, where will we be? Like, what would be left? Right? And that is a reality. And so we have for so long been the creators and nucleus of culture. And culture doesn't necessarily trickle down from the boardrooms, right? Which is why you see ads like H&M with a monkey on a Black boy's, T-shirt, or you see Gucci with lips on a turtleneck, right? Culture, it rises from communities. And so Black Week sits at the intersection of those two worlds, right? It's where CMOs, CEOs, and creative leaders come to face with athletes, artists, innovators, and activists who are shaping the cultural landscape in real time. So if you want to know where consumer behavior, where creativity, and where technology is headed, this is the room you need to be in. And so, the conversations that are happening at Black Week are not about yesterday's trends. They're about what's driving the next decade of culture, business, and storytelling. And also, I say, reality is every single brand needs to know these insights. Reverend, we look across the landscape of advertising space. I make up one of only 5 Black chief creative officers in a holding agency in the U.S.
Wow.
We're talking around 2,300 other people in that position.
Right.
So when you see these mistakes happen, is because individuals like me are not in the room, right? So our days at this conference feel very much like TED Talks, where you get real, actionable insights from experts from all over the industry. And this year, on top of that, we also launched Debut. And this occurs now in our evenings. So these TED Talk style kind of elements are during the day. And in the evenings, we have Debut, which really is an immersive and interactive festival which showcases up-and-coming musicians, filmmakers, and comedians. So we are bringing to you individuals who will break. And that's hard to do, right? But understanding cultural nuances and things of that nature allow us to see forward and bring those directly to these individuals.
Let me ask you, is there a website, how do people listening around the country and particularly the Northeast get the information on Black Week that's starting on the 6th?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to Black Week, BlackWeek.co, not com, but .co, and there you can actually find a whole slew of information around who's attending, who's coming, etc., who's speaking, and of course buy tickets. Our premium tickets, which are our VIP tickets, have actually sold out. So executive passes are left, but when I tell you we have a multitude of people that are actually speaking, I mean, we got people from Don Lemon to who's opening up to Joyanne Reed to Bethany Beth Ann Hardison, right, which is an icon in the modeling fashion, who found every major black supermodel like Naomi Campbell, a slew of people, all the way to I could go on and on. I mean, Nigel Sylvester, BMX professional bike rider. So we have a slew of people, and it's an incredible opportunity for people to really come in and learn real cultural insights and lean in, from tech folks to brand to anyone really.
And give that again, how they can go online.
Absolutely. If you go to blackweek.co and get your tickets, right? They are selling out fast, and it is going to be quite the event. And I promise, we're not called the fastest growing in the conference in the U.S. for no reason.
Absolutely,
so thank you, brother.
Right.
I appreciate you for having
me. I
me.
appreciate you for coming on. I certainly have a sensitivity. People close to me are in that space, and you having everyone from Beth Page to Joy Reid and all, you have the right people there. It's worth people getting involved, being there. Get your tickets. Thank you for being with us, and we're going to take a break. Thank you again, Walter T. Gear III. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is. You know, every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, the call-in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton. Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized. No justice! No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me a papa God, rain, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. It's Exhale Friday, and it's my birthday. Today, in fact, October 3rd, and I'm so happy Congressman Jonathan Jackson, my real friend and brother, Martin Luther King III, and Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson have called in. And on my message board, the one and only Maureen Mo Forte of Chicago National Action Network says, birthday blessings from National Action Network Chicago chapter. She is an extraordinary activist and elected official in her own right. And she's related to Fred Shuttlesworth, who was the leader of the Birmingham movement that led to the Civil Rights Act and of '64. He was the one that hosted Dr. King, and then they came in under his leadership. And I'm honored that her bloodline of Fred Shuttlesworth that flows and that mantle in the hands of Maureen Forte is part of National Action Network's family. All right, let's go to Bertha in Cleveland, Ohio. Bertha, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Happy birthday, Reverend.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You look good, you look fine. Hope you're having a blessed time. Happy birthday to you. And may the good Lord bless you. And may the good Lord keep you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Reverend.
Thank you. And I you
off
do
this
that every
morning.
year. You do that every year for me.
I took off this morning to make sure that I would be able to get to you this morning, so I wouldn't take. I'm a cosmetologist, retired from the Board of Education, but I do hair full time. But I took off this morning so I could get to you because this morning was for your day.
Oh, so wonderful.
And on Monday I'll call you and talk about the other, but I don't want to even mention his name on your day.
Oh,
this is your
bless
day.
you. Bless
This is your day, and may God forever bless you. I pray for you morning, noon, and night.
I
That
pray.
the Lord will cover you up and keep you in His protection.
I appreciate that more than I could say. Thank you. Love you. Thank you so much. You know, it reminds
Love
me.
you. You know, my shoestring's older than you, Reverend.
That's all right. Thank you for your call. Let me say, reminds me one year, we've been on the air 19 years now with this show, and one of the big surprises, Bertha calls every year and sings, and somebody else does, but one of the years that surprised me is Aretha Franklin called and sung Happy Birthday to me, and I did not know, but she used to listen to the show anytime she was home in Detroit. And she listened to the show, and she called, surprised me, and then she came to my birthday party when I turned 60. 10 years ago, she came. She was in New York, came to my birthday party, and then she did Politics Nation, one of the last shows she did, and I was honored to speak at her homecoming. I listen to her every morning when I'm in the gym. I play some Aretha Franklin and some other gospel. I'm a gospel guy. I like Yolanda Adams and Aretha and people like that. Let me go to Andre J. in Chicago. Andre J., you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Andre J.
Hello. Yeah, hello there, Rev. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to say, yeah, thank you, Rev. Before I make my comments on you, I want to say something. And I've been listening to you for a long time, Rev. I've been listening to you when you had the callers call your show, and then the best call of the day, you would ring that bell.
Yeah.
When they had like the best comment of the, you remember that?
I remember that. I remember that. That's when I used to do it in the studio, yeah. I need to get a bell here in the office. I might need to bring that back.
Yeah, I really enjoyed when you did that. But that ain't what I call for. Forgive me for saying this, Rev, but I got to say this. You know, you and me don't always get along, but when somebody offend you, they offend me. Now, here it is. We got a government shutdown. We got ICE taking over people's cities. We got all of this stuff going to government, and this clown call you up and want you to use all your capital on Sean P. Diddy Combs. First of all, Sean P. Diddy Combs ain't no saint. And that was really stupid for him to ask you to use your capital with all this stuff we got going on in the world. He need to get a life. I was offended by that. You know, like I said, me and Rev don't always get along, but Rev is my guy. And if they offend you, they offending me. So I want to say I called to wish you a happy birthday to you. And thank you for all that you do, Rev, to help everybody. And thank you for the things you're doing now. And thank you for the things that you will do in the future to help people. And in the words of the Donny Hathaway, hold on to the world as it spins around. Just don't let the spin get you down. Things are moving fast. If you hold on tight, you will last. Rev, it's important to know what the future holds, but it's more important to know who holds the future, and that's the man upstairs. And I want you to stay positive, have a good birthday, and keep on using that discernment you got. Don't let these paid agent provocateurs for P. Diddy call and get you off point. Thank you, Rev.
I
and have a
appreciate
good
that,
birthday.
and you preached a little bit for me today, Andre. I like that. Some Donny Hathaway, and then come back in with Know Who Holds. Wow, that got home to me. I appreciate you. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Jerry in Cleveland, Ohio. Jerry, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Happy birthday, Pastor Sharpton.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you a question. At the end of our conversation, I hope to give a little scripture I want these wealthy people to think about. But do you think the Democrats have learned their lesson? I was listening to C-SPAN, and no matter what you say to these Republicans, dyed-in-the-wool Republicans, they will not change their mind. Whether it's they support Trump because of racism or what. Trump could say something, they'll believe it. You could come up with facts, and they won't believe it. So do you think the Democrats have learned, come into the black community, show us that you're going to fight for us? Because we talk about affordability, which is extremely important. We talk about health care, that's very important. Transgender rights, everybody deserves rights. But I don't hear them fighting for voting rights. John Lewis, he passed away, his bill, I don't hear them fighting for that. And they need to start coming to our neighborhood, and whether they lose or not, but we need to see them putting up an effort and at least talking about it. I watch these shows. You're the only one I might hear talk about it. I watch these shows on MSNBC. I don't hear anybody talking about it. They could talk about the lies about an election being stolen from them, but no one talks about the fact that I heard 4 million people were dropped from voting polls, which probably would have gave Kamala Harris the election. No one talks about that.
No, I think you raised a critical point. I think that it is important what you're saying. And the problem is, I don't know if the Democrats have learned it or not. I do not see enough energy toward exposing and standing up to these people. So I think what will happen is that there are going to be some new Democrats to take over that party. I think part of that is what we're seeing with Zoran Mandani in New York and some of the people other places. And it's not just based on their younger. A lot of them are, and we need the new generation. But it also is some of the older folks that's tired of this. Let's not forget, when they did the progressive tour, you had AOC, who's young, I think in her 30s now, and Bernie Sanders, who's in his 80s. I think that we need to bridge based on our agenda, and I think that's what's so important to you. If they cannot confront Trump when, he in their face, Jared, had a meeting with Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, minority leaders of the Senate and the House, and had on the desk in the Oval Office Trump 2028 hats, like mocking them. I want to break the Constitution and run again. When you're dealing with that kind of mentality, you can't negotiate with that. You got to put the fire to that, because this guy is mocking the Constitution. What Trump 28, you can't run again by Constitution unless you're telling us straight in our face that you intend to overthrow the Constitution and do what you want to do. And when do we get outraged by that? When do we stand up? And yeah, I'm one of the few that do it because that's just who I am. I can't, if I ain't got a crowd, I'm going to stand up. But I'm saying that you're correct. The Democratic Party, the Democrats that we put in office need to stand up or we need to sit them down. Because this is fighting time. This ain't no kissing and making up and can't we get along. These people are crazy. When a man can sit up there and put a Trump 28 hat when he's supposed to be negotiating whether to close the government, how do you rationalize that?
And if they can't fight for us, they don't need to be coming to our churches when it's time to vote.
Right. That's right.
And what gets me is this is a beautiful time for them to start coming into the black communities because except for those couple of idiots that call you that King David and that other David, except for them, most of the people realize this man doesn't like us. How come I never see them talking about the white immigrants? Aren't there just as many white immigrants from European nations coming into this country?
And he brought over 50 of them from South Africa, talking about that they were running from genocide, which is an absolute blatant bald-faced lie.
And for all these evangelicals that support Donald Trump and these billionaires, I want to ask you, what would Jesus have to say to a billionaire?
Well, I would suppose you'd have to go by the scripture. None of us could say exactly, but a rich man, according to the scripture, came to Jesus, and Jesus told him sell all he had and give it to the poor, and the rich man left. Then we see the last time we saw Jesus in church, he went in the synagogue and started turning over the table saying, you've turned my father's house from a house of prayer to a den of thieves. So I can only go by what Jesus did to the billionaires of his time.
And also in 1 John chapter 3, I think it's 16 to 19, where it talks about loving each other as Jesus loved us.
Yeah.
And it talks specifically about the rich and what they should do toward the poor.
That's right. That's in the book. Got to go. I hear the music. Thank you so much for your wisdom. Always welcome your calls. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Please receive one of the greatest voices for the urban community. One, amen. Not them yet. This is one of the greatest voices, not many of the greatest voices. We're going to adjust the program.
I didn't think when I was at any age, some of the things I'd be doing, I would tell you was crazy. I would just did what I felt was right. A lot of things just evolved, but I intend to use the access I have to try to advance the things I always fought for. And I'm very happy to see the mixture. Sean Bell's parents here, the governor's coming, the mayor's coming, and the parents of Eric Gardner. So this is my life. I've been able to reach from the streets to the suites, and I intend to do it a long time. I didn't think when I was at any age, some of the things I'd be doing, I would tell you was crazy. I would just did what I felt was right. A lot of things just evolved, but I intend to use the access I have to try to advance the things I always fought for. And I'm very happy to see the mixture. Sean Bell's parents here, the governor's coming, the mayor's coming, and the parents of Eric Gardner. So this is my life. I've been able to reach from the streets to the suites, and I intend to do it a long time.
Dear Reverend Sharpton, we are pleased to join in wishing you a happy 60th birthday. Guided by faith and an unwavering belief in the America that could and should be, you have dedicated yourself to the righteous cause of perfecting our union.
Happy birthday.
The death of my son stunned what I need to do and what the purpose that God has for me. We are blessed to have Reverend Sharpton to work with us, to support us, and just to guide us through all the things that we have gone through.
60 years old. Seems like you're just getting started. Seems like you're just warming up. You're reaching more and more people around this nation, hearing a voice, positive vision, speaking truth to power. You're helping us move forward. And we all owe you not only a warm and loving happy birthday, but a profound thanks. God bless you.
Thank you to the mayor. First of all, let me say I'm very, very happy and honored with all that has been said tonight. The governor and the mayor and Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, and Spike and all of my friends. My board chairman, Reverend Richardson, would you come forward and all of our board members. But I want to pay special tribute to the chairman of tonight's event. If it wasn't for him, LaMelo Morris, this wouldn't happen. Where's LaMelo? He went out of his way. I want to thank Phil Griffin, president of SNBC, that exposed us to the nation. And his words tonight, I will never forget. And the most important, to me, to hear Mrs. Diallo, Mrs. Bell, Trayvon Martin's mother, Miss Fulton, Miss Gardner, all of them. I wanted them here because anywhere I go, I want people to know I go because I'm fighting for them. And I don't do one thing one side of town, some on the other side of town. I'm going to the Four Seasons, we all go. Like tomorrow night, we all going to church. Yolanda Adams and Marvin Sapp is doing our gospel festival uptown. And it is the unnamed people that march, that never be on TV. This is their celebration, because they are the what I do. And I'm going to do it as long as I can. I want to thank all of our people at National Action Network, Michael Hardy, our Executive Director, Janae Ingram. I want to thank them. I pushed them hard, but I want to make them better. James Brown pushed me hard, so I don't have no mercy on them. I want to thank all of our friends in labor and everywhere. I'll get in trouble calling names. I'm going to forget somebody. But I want the bell and them to know tonight was special. Those that I forget, Reverend Richardson and I will recognize tomorrow night at the Gospel Festival. But I want these families to know. I want our chapter leaders to know. Reverend Charles Williams here from Detroit, Reverend Toots from LA and all. That it doesn't matter when you're in the suites. If you don't forget, you're there for those in the streets. And we are here for a reason. And this is a beautiful night. But we still will be anyway you don't want to deal with education. And our mission should never be in any way forgotten. I want to thank this mayor for helping to begin the transformation of the city. I want to thank all of the electeds that have come tonight, and I want to thank all of you that have stood with us and marched with us. And I want to thank the mayor. He said that the more I'm criticized, the more he's going to hang out with me. Well, he must going to hang out with me a lot. But I don't have to be in town not to get criticized. And I want to thank all of these that helped make National Action Network from the beginning. If it wasn't for, that's why I mentioned Michael Hardy, if it wasn't for Michael, and we started, it was just a few of us. Now we're all over the country, and I will never, ever forget those that believed in us, the Teresa Freemans, the Michael Hardys, the Nora Fulani, Rachel Norman, people that worked. I don't care what you say, I'm going to stand for what is right and stand with those that stood. Tamika Mallon, people that made this movement. You can take whatever shots you want, but we came together and we go in together because we're fighting for a better day. I want to thank my daughters, Dominique and Ashley, who are the pride of my life. I never asked them to be an activist, and both of them are excellent activists and fine ladies. And I love them and I thank them and I'm glad they have visited. 77532 5797 1877 532 5797. And let me say, we're joined as we are every Friday at this hour for the last hour of the show for the week. And he is the senior pastor of the historic King Solomon Baptist Church in Detroit, head of national expansion and the Michigan State Chair of National Action Network, the Reverend Charles Williams II. How you doing, Reverend? I don't hear Reverend Williams.
We had him. I don't know what's going on. I'll check for you, sir.
All right, please do. I don't hear him. All right, let me go to the phones since I don't hear Reverend Williams. I know he was plugged in, but I don't hear him. It's probably a technical glitch. Let me go to the phones. Let me go to Maryland, to Poet Maxan. Maxan?
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi, Reverend Al.
Hi.
I'm Poet Maxine. How are you?
Oh, Maxine.
I'm a longtime member of the Washington, D.C. chapter of NAN
Okay.
and alum of Howard University. We were represented at Howard University Clemson Auditorium.
I got Rev. I got him.
Great sermon as usual.
Hello.
I have not called in for a while. Hello?
Yes, you're on. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
I have not called. I have not called in for a while, but you know I can't miss your birthday.
Thank you.
And your birthday poem by yours truly. Now, Reverend Al, Last year, you looked good, like a world leader should. You stay trim, look good for you and them. Can't wait to see you again. See infectious grin hanging below the chin. Watch you strut your suit, mingle among the group. Let them know you don't live in a coop, too smart to get tangled in the loop, trying hard to get you spooked. Now, to the distinguished civil rights leader, preacher, teacher, orator, motivator, professor, and blessings yet realized. A very blessed, prosperous, safe, and healthy 71st birthday to Reverend Al Sharpton. May God forever bless, keep you strong as you keep it real while trying to deal and heal. Now, a cheerful and blessed happy birthday wishes to you, Reverend Al Sharpton. God bless.
Oh, God bless you. That was beautiful. Wow, you put that together. I love it. Thank you so much, poet.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Rev, I got a real special guest for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me, before I bring, I think we got Rem Williams, we said we have another surprise guest. Let me go to the live line.
Hello, Reverend Al.
Yeah.
This is Attorney Ben Crump.
Oh, Lord.
Your little brother. I'm in an airport, but I just landed. I could not stop and do anything else before I called to say happy birthday, mentor, co-counsel, our civil rights leader who has been making a difference in my life and all my clients' lives. And I don't know if you realize this, Rev, it was 2006 with Martin Lee Anderson. So
wow.
Next, as we come up on 2026, big brother, we've been doing this for 20 years.
Wow.
Going out telling Black America that we matter. I mean, in all kind of cases, from Trayvon to Breonna, George Floyd, Stephon Clark, so many of them. And then what you did with your home sisters and brothers in Harlem, New York, on this Legionnaires, and gave them a place to come together and say, this is bigger than what it appears. Rev, you just a resource for Black people, and, man, I want to give you your flowers every chance I get, Rev. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, man. Black America, we owe you so much.
Well, I appreciate you. I mean, I've worked down through the years with many people, but I've not worked with anyone with more integrity, and that doesn't play into the division. There's always been, since I was a kid, division of the movement. You try to manage and work with everybody, but protect your clients so they with the ones that'll be there for the long run. And you're right, next year be 20 years. You and I have been shoulder to shoulder, and every fight, there's always some group that want to be the group, and then the next fight is a different group. And we managed to navigate through all of that together. The young activists that didn't last and some that did, all of them were sincere, but it's just hard work. Young lawyers that are sincere, but they ain't been crump. You got to be willing to weather the storm. Everybody can get in the ring, can't go 15 rounds. Some go 3 rounds, and we love them, let them do that. But but you a long distance runner. I've not seen anybody, and I've worked with everybody from you name it to Johnny Cochran, all of them. I've not met anybody that has earned that position in Black America that like you have, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I only regret that some of the people that passed on didn't see you in action, because you have really done a lot for our people. Thank you so much for the call.
That means a lot. Rev, we got 20 more years to go, because what we're facing now, we need you more than ever, mentor. So you enjoy the day. I promise I ain't going to bother you today, but tomorrow we right back on the front line, mentor.
All right. Thank you so much. Rem Williams, do we got you now?
Yes, sir. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I ain't got much to excel, but to excel on your birthday is another good Excel Friday, Rev. I always tell people everywhere I go that I have been with Rev over 20 years too, and he's been with me since I was a young man. Gave me a chance, gave me a shot. I remember the day he came off the airplane into Detroit, Michigan, and said, "You running this campaign in 2004." After spending time as a youth and college leader in National Action Network under Reverend Sheffield, and I said, "What? I'm running? You running it? You where we going? Where you say go?" And from 19 years old all the way up now to 44, you have been the man in my life who I'm proud to call a father. Some people say, "Well, don't you have?" I do have a father. My father taught me how to be a man in life. But my father in ministry taught me how to be a man in social justice business and social justice ministry. And that's none other than you, Rev. So happy, 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 happy birthday. And I was thinking this morning, I said, if I could get me a flight, I'd get me a flight to grab me some Ashton Churchills and come and hang with you, man. But I promise I'll be there. We'll get that done before the year is out.
All right. Well,
I love you, man. Love you much. Love you much.
love you
We
even
spend a
more.
lot of mornings, a lot of Saturday mornings, talking and going over the movement message. You inspired me to do the Saturday action rallies. I've been doing them ever since. Even sometime when I want to go do something else, I get back to the Saturday action rally. So you just been a powerful example in my life. And everywhere I go, I'm Sharpton. That's my man. That's my guy. I do what he say do. And that's how it's gonna be until we ain't gonna do it no more.
Well, and I hope that's a long time. And I tell you, I don't like to tip the scales on who comes behind me, but I can say this publicly. I'm not more proud and have more confidence in the leadership ability of Reverend Charles Williams II. And he's demonstrated that, like you say, been with us since he was 19. I knew him before he was married, he had kids, and none of that changed. And he's devoted to his family, devoted to his church, but still finds a way to work night and day for us, and that's real leadership, and I appreciate that. Let's get ready to take a break. We'll be right back. More of you on the phones and read more of the message board. Rodney Jones, the mayor, saying, "Good afternoon, Reverend Charles Williams, the minister of Motown." That's what he calls you. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton Williams. Be right back.
Breaking news.
Please listen.
The issues, the stories affecting you. Now,
for the urban community, one, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you, Bishop. To the Franklin family and to all of us gathered, Aretha Franklin was not only an unparalleled artist, she was a civil rights activist and freedom fighter. It is easy to celebrate the gifts that God gives. It is more difficult when someone uses those gifts in ways that enhances humanity. Aretha Franklin was given special gifts, but she used it in a special way. And she would not want us to celebrate her without talking about she stood for something. She never shamed us. She never disgraced us. She never made us make excuses for her. She represented the best in our community, and she fought for our community until the end. I first met Miss Franklin when I was a teenager. I'd become youth director of New York Operation Breadbasket, and she would come to the strategy meetings with Reverend Jackson. And I would hear the stories of how when Dr. Martin Luther King couldn't make payroll, Harry Belafonte and Aretha Franklin went on an 11-city tour to raise money for Martin Luther King. A lot of artists hang up Dr. King's photo, but Aretha went and raised money and gave it and worked free. Her daddy marched with Dr. King, and she never stopped supporting. As the years went by and I developed National Action Network, and she would call my radio show and have me come to her affairs. She called me one day. She said, Mal, I want to send you something. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, what's your home address? And she sent it. About 3 days later, I got a check made out National Action Network signed by Aretha Franklin. I saw about a month later, I said, you know, I was so blown away. I grew up looking up to you that I framed that check. She said, boy, don't you have a copy machine? She said, you don't know how I am with my bank accounts. You better cash that check and... But all of her life, she supported the causes. She was a feminist before feminism was popular. She was a civil rights activist when it wasn't popular. She gave us pride, and she gave us a regal bar to reach. And that's why we're all here. We don't all agree on everything, but we agree on Aretha. And she fought for everybody. I remember when we were used to picket, Charles Williams and all of us jumping on the record industry, she said, now y'all leave Clive Davis alone. He's one of the good ones. She loved Clive and said, we got to remember what happened to the Irish and what happened to Jews and what happened to blacks. And that is why we remember her legacy, because she sang a song for all of us. She was the soundtrack of the civil rights movement. If you track where we are, you can follow where Aretha had us. That's why when I look at her and James Brown, whose daughter's here, and others, who paid a price, that opened the door, but never forgot where they came from. She was rooted in the black church. She was bathed in the black church, and she took the black church downtown and made folks that didn't know what the Holy Ghost was shout in the middle of a concert. You never saw her perform without her doing gospel, because she never was one to forget where she came from. And that's why we give her this great homegoing. We thank her for what she did with Dr. King. We thank her for what she's done with Reverend Jackson. We thank her for what she's done with all of us. And that is why, you know, the other Sunday on my show, I misspelled respect. And a lot of y'all corrected me. Now I want y'all to help me correct President Trump to teach him what it means. And I say that because when word had went out that Miss Franklin passed, Trump said she used to work for me. No, she used to perform for you. She worked for us. Aretha never took orders from nobody but God. So Aretha, as you get your rest, my mother passed about 6 years ago. President Clinton, my mother and I had a deal. She said, I'll meet you on the other side. You live the way you're supposed to, and I'll see you in heaven. I said, well, Ma, they tell me there is no bodies in heaven, just spirits. How am I going to know you? I know her sons. How will I know her? She said, I tell you, you meet me at the exchange counter. I said, exchange counter? What kind of exchange counter? She said, well, right after you get through the Golden Gates, there's an exchange counter. That's where you hand in your cross to pick up your crown. We watched Aretha bear her cross down here. She had to sing with a broken heart. She had to work when she didn't get paid. She was a black woman in a white man's world. She bared her cross. She fought a good fight. Now it's time to crown the queen. I'll see you at the exchange counter where you can now hand in your cross. Ain't no cancer over there, Aretha. Hand in your cross and pick up your crown. As I take my seat, I've been asked to read this. Don't do that. Because I only have 5 minutes and y'all will make me go into something else. Dear friends and family of Aretha, Michelle and I extend our heartfelt sympathies to all of those who gathered in Detroit, and we join you in remembering and celebrating the life of the Queen of Soul. From a young age, Aretha Franklin rocked the world of anyone who had the pleasure of hearing her voice, whether bringing people together through thrilling intersections of genres or advancing important causes through the power of song. Aretha's work reflected the very Reverend Al best Sharpton, Reverend Charles Williams II is our co-host. Reverend Williams, what is the prognosis and evaluation, I'll say it that way, of that you are making of what is going on in terms of the politics in Michigan and in Detroit? We keep hearing about the Senate race there in Michigan. We know about the mayor's race. Give the country a little analysis on what's happening in Michigan, which is a critical bellwether state.
Well, you know, Rev, we got a lot of work ahead of us. We got a governor that's going to be coming up. We got Mike Duckins running independent. Jocelyn Benson, former Secretary of State, or current Secretary of State, running for governor from the Democrat side. And of course, you've got the Republican black Congressman John James, who's now going to be also running for governor for the Republican side. Then we got a Senate race coming up, unknown small town congressional representative. I can't even think of her name right now, but she's running for Democrat U.S. Senator. And then you've got Abdul Sayed, who is a popular, young, energetic man who's running for U.S. Senate, running the state now. He got a big stake in southeastern Michigan from the Islamic community, from the Muslim community, from the Arabic community. So it's going to be a lot. Then, of course, you got Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, African-American man who's a lieutenant governor, current now, also going to be running in the primary. A lot of reason for us to make sure that we're prepared. You know, I don't know if you saw this. I think you guys might have talked about it on Morning Joe this week, as a matter of fact, but the President of the United States on last week sent a request from the Secretary of State to get the election results in total sent to Washington, D.C. What is up the president's sleeve? We're not sure. But I think that we're going to be prepared. We got to be prepared for some election protections, voter protection, and voter registration and voter education next year, because we're looking at a great possibility, and let's just be frank about it, where the president, if he feels like things aren't going his way in the state of Michigan, that he could try to invalidate the results, try to say the results were false in 2023 and or 2022, and now they're cheating in the election. I mean, there's all kinds of sparks and fireworks in regards to what it's going to look like next year, but it's just going to cause us to have to double down on our efforts to protect our election. As a matter of fact, we're pulling together now some meetings with the Secretary of State and our city clerk and some county clerks now to say, hey, look, we got to double down on tightening up, making sure there's no holes to be poked, and whatever we need to do as citizens, we can do our part while you guys do what you need to do, who are sitting in the offices and counting these votes.
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jason in Washington, D.C. Jason. Is Jason there? All right, let me.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. And my birthday is on the 23rd, so I always try to call you on your birthday.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you a question about Trump. And this is, concerning the way that he's been carrying on, like a madman, of course. And I know there's a feature in the Constitution that indicates that if a president, acting president, is insane, I guess he has to be declared insane before they, take him out of office and place a replacement for him. And I guess the question remains, well, who's going to do that? Who's going to stand up and try to do that? But my concern is that because of the lack of outcry that I'm hearing, among the people themselves, they're complaining, but I don't see where there's, any major outcry. I'm just concerned about the midterm elections, whether or not if that's going to do any good, or if that's going to make an impression on that. And if it doesn't, then we got this man that supposedly once his time is expired, how are we going to get him out of office? There's something.
No,
in my mind
I think
wondering.
it's a legitimate question that scares me, Jason. Thank you for your call. One of the reasons it scares me, Jason and Reverend Williams, is that you don't see enough movement and energy on the ground, and not only the Democrats, even activist groups, civil rights groups. That's why we had the march on Wall Street, and thousands come out. If people see you moving, they'll come. But where's the leadership? That was the first big black-sponsored march since Trump's been in. We did the one that Trump on Inauguration Day. You've got to energize people. People can't plug into what you have not plugged them into. People know they're suffering, but they need to see action to plug into to do something about their suffering. And I totally agree with him on that. Let's go to Tommy in Chicago. Tommy.
Well, a pleasant afternoon to you, Reverend, and especially every time I get a chance to hear Reverend Williams' voice. It is a strange phenomenon when the truth shows up. I mean, this is just straight reality. Your show yesterday, because I listen to you every day, and everything you said, one thing after another, and Reverend Williams, I'm having an issue and a problem with, it's just one simple thing. With all the psychology and psychologists, why is there no addressing or no apology, no nothing toward a community that had nothing to do with anything that took place, or the fact that you're wiping out their culture, their history, taking it out of the Smithsonian and went as far as to mess with Jackie Robinson? Do I just need to keep saying names? And what's worse, Reverend, you got people running around here swearing up and down that President Obama put Asada Shakur's name on the terrorist list. No matter how you tell him, hey, look, go to the National Archives, look it up for yourself, and he did not do that. No matter how, no matter how you tell him, oh, guess what? Guess who was the head of the FBI at that time? Oh, your man Robert Mueller, the same person who could do one thing but couldn't do another thing. When you go down the line as I close, because see, you don't need an individual like me. If they won't listen to the two of you, I mean, true fighters. If you notice, I didn't say happy birthday to you, Rev, for one reason, because you know the word says that if you got an op with somebody, you ought to go to them and tell them, man, I ain't been able to get a piece of that cake of yours since I don't know how many years. I've been asking that. Can I just get some cake? Can I just get some cake? I'm in my feelings about that. And this is usually about the time you stand up and test a lie, but we're going to keep it real. And I'm simply going to close with seriously, Rev. Happy birthday. Not only are you a father, not only are you God's man, not only are you people's man, but you are reality's man. Because, Reverend, no matter what hill you had to climb, no matter how much you had to sling, no matter what has happened to you, Rev, I could never explain to anyone in this country that the year that I faced in Vietnam, facing bullets, has never been the tribute and the tyranny that Reverend Sharpton has faced dealing with uninformed, ignorant, and absolute lunatics. Goodbye.
All right, well, thank you for your call. And the reason you haven't gotten none of my birthday cake is everybody knows I don't eat cake. So
You don't eat it.
So when somebody hands me birthday cake, they know that's going to the staff, and I'm trying to get them on a physical fitness program. Let me thank you for calling, Tommy. Let me take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton Williams. Be right back.
No justice. No justice. No justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know I'm trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know I'm trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes Blacks. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they may be at, started in Harvard. with a black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And it went from there on. And I think that we've got to have positions that they could fight. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. And don't forget, we are on live Saturday and Sunday, tomorrow and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Politics Nation with Al Sharpton on MSNBC. And certainly I'm going to be dealing with all of these issues and with those in the middle of it, the Senate and the Congress. Make sure you watch it 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. Also, make sure you that are in the tri-state area meet me in the morning at the Saturday Action Rally. We'll be dealing with the shutdown. We'll be dealing with whatever comes out of the Diddy sentencing, which we should know within the next hour or two. We'll be dealing with a lot of issues. D.A. Alvin Bragg and others will be there to celebrate my birthday. And then, of course, you with tickets for Monday night, free, for the Triumph Awards, where we're honoring Babyface and Stephanie Mills and Ari Melba and Chesley Maddox Dorsey and Vincent Bohannon, the gospel singer. Make sure you get your tickets, pick your tickets up in advance. You that have signed up should know by now when to get your tickets over the weekend. You that have not signed up can sign up on the list. If some people turn back and are not coming, we can fill, you have a fill-in list. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Let's, Reverend Williams, what's going on Saturday, Detroit, National Action Network?
We're planning a large voter registration push, voter education push, voter mobilization push for October the 30th. I want you to make sure you come out so you can get the details, get the time, get the place, get busy, get to work. So join us tomorrow, 10 a.m., historic King Solomon Baptist Church, 6100 14th Street for the National Action Network Michigan Saturday Action Rally.
All right, I'm going to, before I go to Cleveland real quick, let me go to Atlanta, the sage in the South, Brother Jihad. Brother Jihad.
Hey, happy birthday, Reverend Al. I just wanted to be real quick on that.
Thank you.
And hope you have many more.
Thank you.
And we need you to have many more, to be honest with you. We need you to have many more. So I hope you have a great celebration. And you said something I just want to tap on. It only take 1 second. When you talked about the apathy. You know, if you just reflect on the last, what since he was in the last time, or since George Floyd,
right?
They have done a number of things that should have brought about some activism among us.
Right.
You know, there were a lot of police killings. There was no response from us. You know what I mean? Over the past 3-4 years, no major response. The legal thing they did to us, no major response. So what they figured was, in their observation, is that they have what do you call it, like deadness, so to speak.
Right.
Or that we haven't, you know, except for the major march that you had. You're right, no civil rights leader, no conversation. You know what I mean? It's just like whatever's happening is happening. You know what I mean? And I think that's where they're getting the strength from. And you're 100% right. We have to figure out some type of way to stimulate our people and make them understand how serious this situation is. You know, even on some of the other talk shows, you know what I mean? There's a lot of joking, a lot of playing like everything is fine.
Right. And everybody's an analyst. Everybody's an analyst, not a leader.
Right.
Dr. King used to say the paralysis of analysis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So happy birthday to you. And I just wanted to
thank
tap
you.
in on that.
I appreciate it. All right, thank you. That's a sage for real. Let's go to Marcia McCoy, the irreplaceable, irrevocable president of the Central Cleveland Central chapter, the Greater Cleveland chapter of the National Action Network, Dr. Marcia McCoy.
Happy birthday to our honorable, illustrious, esteemed, and distinguished leader, Reverend Dr. Professor Al Sharpton.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us to partake of the God-driven, your vision of National Action Network. Always thank God for recognition, Reverend Al Sharpton and the National Action Network. These names allowed us and allow us to assist in getting people released from facing 20-year sentences for crimes they hadn't committed. I can go on and on and on, but I must allow the bishop to gift you the meal today. After all, it's your birthday. What say you, Bishop?
Dr. Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Charles Williams.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my mule, my brother.
I got you,
Everything wrong in America, in convicted felons Donald Trump's warped mind, began when too many people of color, especially black people, living in the American dream. America is too American for his want to be dictatorial power. So with the U.S. Supreme Court immunity status and the Republican majority in the House and the Senate, his response to this quest is warped, sick, dictatorial mind is to take down every highly intelligent, qualified black leader of consequence who rose to high positions because of diversity, equity, and inclusion, he says. Thus, he fires every black general in leadership high position, every black person in high governmental position, affirming his white supremacy ideology. He pays white South Africans to come to America while trying to ship every black and brown person out of the country. He invades only Democratic cities with black mayors to convince the country that the black leadership is an anathema to white America. His campaign promises have gone to hell in a handbasket, and all of what he is doing now is sending the country down the toilet. Check this out. This tyrant has embarrassed us on the world stage at the United Nations with his erratic, narcissistic behavior. He cuts taxes for millionaires and billionaires. He has dismantled public education. This bigot has created havoc in cities across the country with Gestapo tactics, snatching people off the street and deporting them to foreign jails and prisons, ending requirements for federal contractors to utilize minority contractors on federal projects, implemented the brutal mass deportation of Latinos, blacks, and South Africans, using governmental funds, chartering an airplane to relocate 60-plus white South African Africanos, and also paying for their housing, their health care, groceries, and essentials. From soup to nuts, this administration is the exact opposite of the platform he decreed in the beginning. Trump said, starting on day one, he would end inflation and bring down prices of groceries, and now everything is skyrocketing. He promised to slash energy and electricity prices. He promised to eliminate tax on tips, but hasn't pledged a living wage. He promised to dismantle the deep state by holding officials accountable and expose corruption. Instead, he has replaced integrity and unqualified psychopaths. He promised to end the war in Ukraine on day one. No Nobel Peace Prize for you, dude. He has divided the country with hate, vitriol, and animosity. He has done all of this as a distraction for keeping those Epstein files from being made public. We must stop this madness. I ask you today, everyone, join Dr. Al Sharpton, Dr. Charles Williams, Dr. Marcia McCoy, and the National Action Network, who will fight this fight until the cows come home. Happy birthday, my leader. Love you to death.
Love you back.
Ditto.
Thank you so much. Let me try to get Ray from Cincinnati in here before we have to go. Ray?
Yes, sir, Rev. Thanks for getting to me. Rev, I want to say happy birthday to you. And one last thing. Republicans blame the Democrats for this shutdown. How do you blame a party that Trump has the White House, the Senate, the House, and the judges in his back pocket? How are you going to blame? You tell me, Rev. How are you going to blame the Democrats for the shutdown? That's all I got to say, and happy birthday to you, bud.
All right. Thank you so much. And I think that he raises the right point. They have what they call a triumvirate and triumvirate, whatever the proper pronunciation is. And the Supreme Court the executive branch, which is the president, and the legislative branch, which is the Senate and the House. So if they can't use all of that to stop a shutdown, then they are not being honest with us. And it shows that the Democrats may have a little more than we thought in terms of their ability to get in the way. And we need to keep that pressure on them. They do not need to buckle or bow. They need to stand steady, stand correctly, and stand for the people. They're talking about the shutdown is over the Democrats saying that we don't want you to cut because of your big, beautiful bill, which is a big, ugly bill, any of the health services, any of the health benefits coming out of the Affordable Care Act that you're trying to cut with your big, beautiful bill. If you want to hold over to January, fine, but pledge you will not touch those health benefits. And they won't do that. This is over health. And I think they should hold that line. All right, got to go. There's the music. I'll be saying a lot in the morning at the Saturday rally. I know it's my birthday, but I got a lot to cover. And on Politics Nation, Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Let me thank Reverend Charles Williams. Let me thank Reverend Stephen Marshall. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you on Monday.